What was that all about?
Button pressing. Oh, you know what? I forgot to focus the camera before we started. Oh, God. So unprofessional. Let's see. Will you focus?
There you go. Did we? Did we focus?
I don't know. We might just be blurry.
Well, people are just here to hear us talk anyway.
I guess so.
And, I mean, you can say that it's just your hand's blown out.
I know. I wanted to get it to focus. Hello, everybody. Talk to my hand.
Oh, that's weird. It says we only have 2 people, but we got 3.
Well, I don't know how things work on the back end of that kind of stuff. I'm going to have to... We got to invest in a better webcam.
Yeah.
For this, or camera for this.
Weren't we going to originally do your camera?
Yeah, and then I tried it, but it wasn't really working out that well, so... but anyway, thank you. This is our new set for now. This may or may not stay behind us, this ring nebula.
I would like for it to not. But...
Yes, we were going to probably put some other stuff up there, but we haven't gone through all of our art pictures and stuff yet in order to figure out what's going to go where. Although we think we found a home for this one in the hallway.
Yeah.
That'll most likely be where it is. But for now...
It'll probably be there when you come out here next weekend, Katie.
Yeah.
So, the light our lights just blow everything out.
I know. I was just... Because our beautiful plants and our little moon and earth guys are all blurry. Spock's all blurry. Anyway, everything's blurry.
Yeah. Which is kind of, it's a metaphor for where we probably will be at the end of the hangover.
Blurry.
We will be blurry.
Hold on, I'm going to mess with our camera settings even further just to kind of...
Really?
See. Oh, no, that's nice and up. Let's see, the focus is, can't adjust the focus, autofocus. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Your mom. Oh, no, there we go.
There we
go.
All right. It's a little better, a little autofocus. All right, I took off autofocus. So we should be a little bit better. Anyway.
I feel focused.
Are you focused?
Sort of.
I guess now that we're focused a little bit better, we should get started.
Okay, your mom said that's better.
Yeah. So, okay, cool.
Do you need a countdown?
No, I'll do it without the countdown.
I can do it. 5, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. And this episode is a High in the Sky edition. High in the Sky from our new location here in Oak Ridge, Oregon.
Yeah, still work in progress, but yeah. What a couple of weeks.
But what's great is that, and I should have done, well, actually it was cloudy last night, is that for High in the Skies, we can go out and check out the night sky and actually see, like, stars and stuff and be able to, share that.
And you know what we can do here? We can see the Milky Way.
We can see the Milky Way.
This is the first place that I've ever lived, and I don't want to speak for you, but you've probably ever lived where you can actually see the Milky Way at night. Of course, you got to go out for us at 3 in the morning because of just the orientation of the Milky Way and all that. It's just this time of year, but come November, it'll be pretty high up.
So, speaking of high in the sky, let's get started with drinks. What are you drinking for this?
I gotta look at it again. What is it? It is the Cygnus Summertime Fruit Tea. I don't know why I forgot that. The Cygnus Summertime Fruit Tea.
It sounds delightful. I mean, Cygnus is
it's actually not bad.
Yeah,
what's not in bad. It is a strawberry kiwi vodka.
Oh.
Yes.
That'll make me just break out in redness.
It's the strawberries. With peach tea and a hint of lemon juice.
Ooh, just a hint.
Yes.
Oh, it sounds nice. Sounds lovely.
I have all the citrics. Yeah. It's very, but it actually tastes very smooth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I would like a sip. Can I have a sip, please, sir, of your drink?
You may. Were you expecting me to?
I don't know. Have it. Ooh.
It's smoother than I thought.
That's very nice. Yeah, and it's not too sweet either.
No.
It's very.
But yeah,
like
it's a peach tea, but
tea.
It yeah, it's supposed to be sugar free, so there's no.
Okay, well it tastes good. It's really good. I am drinking a Venusian sour right here, which is basically it's just a whiskey sour, but it Venusian, and it has like little different like cloud layers for Venus, and it's all sulfuric acid clouds.
But the question is why. It's not supposed to have that.
I think it's like the lemon juice.
Yeah, I think it's the lemon juice.
It's like the pulp in the lemon juice. Maybe
because mine did it too.
Maybe our lemon juice is not pulp free.
Maybe
it's
not.
A little pulpy.
A little pulpy.
Juice, a little pulpy. Oh, Jack's at the grocery store. Oh, you refuse to do self-checkout? We self-checkout all the time. We don't want to have to interact with anybody. We just want to boop, boop, boop. Get it and get out.
I do feel bad though because I feel like it takes jobs, but I cannot get over interacting with people. So.
Although I get really annoyed at the self checkout because it's like it gives you all these errors when you don't have errors. Like please rescan.
Yeah, but that was in Utah. We're not in Utah anymore.
Well, it's like the Smiths, but anyway. Whether you use self-checkout or not, follow us on all the things at Drinking Cosmos on Twitter and Cosmos with Cosmos everywhere else, cosmos.com. See us on Spotify, which Anchor FM is now Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and listen to us wherever you're at, grocery stores.
Whatever. Yeah, listen to us at the grocery store, on your drives,
on planes.
On planes,
Brandon might join us.
Airports. I forgot to move our little camera thing out of the way. Let me do that real fast.
What are you doing?
I'm just getting distracted by things.
All right. Well, focus. Right. You're not. We're out of focus.
Okay. Follow us on the things. Also, check out Wildixia on Etsy, Wildixia on Etsy for her cool artwork, and Ron at MrProctorShow.com. Ron Proctor does some cool stuff, talks about science, talks about life, talks about politics, out there in the community of Waxahachie, Texas. And he's got some new stuff in the works.
Glad you said that.
Apparently. Got some cool stuff going with Blender tutorials. I guess he's also going to be writing a book I saw, but I don't know really what it's about. But Mr. Proctor, doing his shit. And of course, Jack, rollingbluffsplanetarium.com if you're in the Iowa area. Nebraska area, Midwest area.
Yeah, southwest corner of Iowa.
Then go to Rolling Bluffs Planetarium and get a really awesome planetarium show from Jack. Yeah.
But it won't be right now because he's at the grocery store.
He's at the grocery store, so he's not. No. And also we have some rules or little drinking game rules, if you will. If you hear any puppies bark, and new rule since we have hardwood floors everywhere now. If you hear a cartoon sound of animals trying to gain purchase on a hardwood floor as they scurry. Also take a drink.
Leia
or Leia just sliding into a wall. Oh my gosh.
It is so cartoonish. So I mean we had joked before we moved in that I want to see the dogs just do the whole cartoon thing. They do. But they really do it.
We gotta get some
video.
Runners.
We gotta get some video before we do it. We have to get video.
We have some runners planned for outside of the office anyway. And also any Star Wars or Lord of the Rings references. We don't have Smeegs, but we got Gandalf's.
Gandalf's.
Gandalf. We got Gandalf. We got Gandalf's staff over here.
That was still very southern.
I know. It just happens. Anyway.
All right.
Everybody, are you ready?
That's funny.
Are you ready to get a little high in the sky?
I really like our new seat.
You really like this? This is our love seat that was, we got it as a secondary couch, but then we got 2 couches, and then we put this in our bedroom as just like a little seat to be in the bedroom. And
that's where we always put our clothes.
And since Brandon is, gonna be, when he's not on assignment, he'll be most likely remote joining us. So I figured this seat would work well. Mm-hmm. And if he happens to be here when we're recording, then we can scoosh, and he's thin enough. He can.
No, it's not. We'll work it out.
Okay. We'll put him on a stool just over here.
Yeah.
I'll have a second camera on him. Anyway, let's get high in the sky, everybody. The night sky, of course, visible at nighttime. Once the sun goes down, you can see things that are up there. Now, they're always up there, but the sun, the nearest star to us, is so bright. We just can't see any of that stuff. It illuminates our atmosphere, so all we see is, blue skies or clouds or gray skies and clouds or...
Yeah, we've seen
we
both
don't
here.
see the cosmos behind it until the sun sets. And then, even then, if you're
wait.
in a city area, you still don't see much because of all that light pollution.
True.
And all that light just...
What is light pollution? We don't experience that anymore.
Except for our neighbors up the way that are
Yeah,
this
but don't
house
turn that
being
off.
worked on. They got floodlights that are shining kind of on our house. So, and just the minor complaint of that. But if you're up, if you're up in the early evening, if you're still awake, when the sun is setting and after the sun sets, Venus very bright in the western sky.
Very bright.
Now,
Very nice.
Hanging out.
Very nice.
Yes. I don't know what phase Venus is in, but it seems pretty bright to be in a fuller phase. It goes through phases like our moon.
Yeah.
That we observe from our perspective, our place in the solar system being the third rock from the sun.
We should bring out one of the telescopes just to.
When it was
quickly
clear,
aim it.
I want to take our small. We have a little small, what is that? Like a 4-inch Celestron.
Yes.
That's like manual. You gotta. And I cleaned it. The inside, I cleaned the best that I could, just with a duster, just cleaning the mirror off. So I want, when it's not cloudy, to take that out.
I told you you'd want to bring it.
I know. I was like...
I told you.
You know what? The things that we should have brought, like a lawnmower, I was just like, oh, we don't have room. And it was just like, we never use it. But now we can use it because we have the skies to really use it with thing.
I told you.
I know. Okay. So check out Venus.
I win that one.
Yeah.
I rarely win, but I win that one.
Now, we covered a lot of May stuff in our last High in the Sky. We did it early for May. So I guess this one's going to kind of be early for June, but we'll have another one in June. And we can talk more about June stuff, or we'll just be early for August, or we'll just be ahead of the months.
Skip July.
I skipped July. Oh, I did skip July, didn't I? Let's see. As of recording this episode, it is May 21st. We have 1 month until summer.
Yes.
June 21st. Exactly a month.
A month
from today, we'll have our summer solstice, and it will be summertime. That's wild.
Though it felt summer not too long ago.
Yeah, but now we have
Now we have fall.
Gray.
It's fall now.
We have a nice gray fall day today. It's beautiful.
With it being only in the mid-60s.
But beginning in June, in the early morning skies, so before sunrise, that early morning twilight, the moon, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn will be in the east for you to check out. Actually, last night, we're coming right out of a new moon now, right?
Yeah, it was a nice, really thin crescent.
We had just a thin crescent of a moon last night. In fact, skies are going to be crap tonight because it's cloudy, but when it gets cleared, we'll get a good crescent. We can break that telescope out too. A crescent moon is the best time to look at the moon through binoculars or a telescope. When it's full, it's not ideal. It's very bright. It does reflect a lot of sunlight, so you actually really should use a moon filter on any telescope.
Definitely you should use a moon filter.
Because it can still blind you and damage your eyes.
Yeah, no, it's not a permanent blindness. Don't think that.
Yeah, but it can
do that with the sun, yes.
Yeah, it can really hurt your eyes. So you want to make sure you have proper safety. If you're looking at a full moon, but full moon isn't going to be, the moon's going to look flat because everything's illuminated. But when you have it in a phase, you have the line that distinguishes the dark side basically. I'm getting there. Okay. The shadowed side and the sunlit side is called the terminator line. And what it does is you get these nice shadows being cast on the craters and the mountains on the moon, so you get a lot of texture and a lot of relief there. That really
looks 3D.
Yeah, it looks. And the moon is a 3D object,
it is.
so it looks. It just makes it look more realistic than you're just looking at like maybe a piece of paper taped to.
It's amazing what shadows can do.
Yes, shadows and highlights.
Yes.
They're. I was trying to bump the highlights down for us, but it made our thing look weird just because we got a lot of highlights going on with the sunlight coming in. But anyway, so now the moon's a nice crescent. It'll be a nice crescent for about a couple weeks.
No. I mean,
it'll get bigger. It'll be like a half a moon in a week.
Yeah.
And then it'll be, but it'll be a full moon in 2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
Because, it's,
first
4 weeks. 4 weeks is a lunar phase, or a month, as we've joked before. A month.
Yeah, so the first quarter is a little less than a week away. Mm-hmm. But go out tonight. You'll see a beautiful crescent. You'll be able to see Earthshine on it, which is the light bouncing off the Earth, illuminating the night side of the moon, and so you actually can see the whole thing. It's really kind of cool. I do like Earthshine.
It is really cool. Like, reflected sunlight from the Earth.
Oh, I should have named my drink Earthshine. Oh well.
Too late.
It is too late.
No name changes. Although I think I did that last episode.
We did it last episode.
All right. Speaking of your drink, though, Cygnus the Swan.
Yes.
Right, let's get into some constellations. Cygnus, summertime constellation, actually.
Yeah, part of the summer triangle.
Rising early in the evening now. Looks like a big cross in the sky. It is known also as the Northern Cross, which is an asterism. So not an official designation of a constellation, but kind of like a shape we make up that's a part of an official constellation, like the Big Dipper is part of the Big Bear. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Little Dipper and the Little Bear. So Cygnus the Swan, it is swimming through the Milky Way.
That's true.
And Cygnus the Swan has a fun little heartwarming story behind it that we have told before on the show, but I'm going to let Mike just do a little recap of the story. You don't have to get so involved in the story. But I thought it would be fun to just throw in a little constellation story.
So originally she wanted to throw a curveball at me.
I don't play baseball.
And not tell me that I had to tell a story. But I looked at the thing.
Well, it was kind of, I put it in the notes and then I meant to tell you and then I kind of forgot about it because I got distracted doing other stuff.
All right, so all the constellations really kind of have stories behind them, for the most part.
Except for in the southern hemisphere, when then you get a lot of practical constellations, like telescopium,
microscopium. There's a fly.
Musca?
Yeah, something like that. Musca.
I wonder, maybe the fly has a story. Flies see some shit. I mean, they don't live long, but they see some shit. And literal shit.
Yeah, I was about ready to say. But anyway, so there's a few different stories behind Cygnus. One of them, there's some rapey story with Zeus.
Well, there's always a rapey story with Zeus. Every story involving Zeus is basically a rapey story.
Yeah. There's a great Chinese, Japanese, Asian story about Tanabata, so we might tell that. In July.
In July, it's Tanabata season.
It's Tanabata, July 7th. Tanabata. And so we'll revisit that story because that's another really good story. Yeah. So this story is actually also a Greek story. Not the rapey version.
No, it's a story of friendship.
It's a story of friendship, and I had a feeling that was the direction you wanted to go with this story.
That is exactly the direction that I was wanting you to go with the story.
Because this is a children's show, right? No, it's a family show.
Is it? No, it's not. This is marked as not for kids when I put it on YouTube because of the drinking and the many F-bombs.
All right, so Cygnus and his buddy Phaethon Phaethon. I
don't think I ever knew his friend's name.
Phaethon.
Okay.
Phaethon.
I was just repeating it.
For
my own
edification. All right, so Cygnus and Phaethon, they were racing chariots.
As you do. What else are you going to do in ancient Greek times for fun? We got Fast X just came out. We're still racing cars. We're still racing cars, people, so nothing's changed. Is that going
to end? Can we finally say goodbye to Walker and
No, I'm sure there's at least 20 more years.
Because they had the perfect perfect ending in one of the movies.
It's a money maker. People are gonna get it.
So anyway, Cygnus and Phaethon were racing chariots through the sky.
Oh, yes. That's fun.
Yes, and so they're racing them through the sky, and they got a little too close to the sun.
Oh, they Icarused it a little bit?
Just like Icarus. And so it basically broke their chariots. And so they go plummeting down, and Phaethon crashes into the river Eridanus.
Which is also a constellation.
Which is. It's also the longest constellation that there is. And so he's at the bottom of the river.
Oh, no.
He's dead.
They're both humans still.
Cygnus is immortal.
Oh.
Yes, he is the son of Ares.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Cygnus is the son of Ares, so he's got a little bit of life in him.
Oh, he's got...
Phaethon does not. So Phaethon has died.
Okay.
And Cygnus sees his best friend in the entire universe, entire world, crash into the river, sink to the bottom lifeless, and he's on the bottom. And Cygnus wants to desperately pull him up and give him a proper burial, proper goodbye.
Yeah. Throw him on that funeral pyre.
Yeah, and so, but he can't do it. And so he's desperate, and he pleads with Zeus to turn him into a swan, so he can dive down into the river and retrieve Phaethon from the...
Why a swan? I would think maybe like a dolphin or something that was a little bit more aquatic.
I don't know, but he chose a swan.
All right.
And so he tells Cygnus, he tells Zeus that in return he will only live as long as swans typically live, which I don't know how long that is.
I don't know. Google out there. How long do swans live?
Yeah, and so...
It's probably like 15 years. I don't know.
All right. So he gets... so Zeus obliges him. He grants it his wish and turns him into a swan. Cygnus dives down into the river, is able to retrieve his best friend in the entire universe, and is able to say a proper goodbye to Phaethon. But the story does not end there.
Whoa.
Zeus, rapey Zeus, was so moved by this display of friendship and love for your friends and
romance.
But really just the love that you would have for any really good friend.
Yeah. A friend mance.
A friend mance, yes. And so he was so moved by that sacrifice that Zeus turned Cygnus into a swan. And places him. He was
already a swan, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. He places him up into the sky for everybody to look at Cygnus in the sky and to be reminded of friendship and that sacrifice.
And so he's flying through he's in the Milky Way.
He is in the Milky Way.
River across the sky.
Yeah. And come back to us in July when we tell Tanabata, which is also has a story about a river.
Yeah, that was more than I thought, because when I would tell, I gave basically the like Cygnus for Dummies episode in my Planetarium shows, where I'd be like Cygnus was hanging out with his best friend fell in a river, he dove in the river to save his best friend, and sacrificed his life, and because of this act of heroism and friendship, Zeus then placed him into the sky for all to...
But that's the story.
Yeah. real bullet pointed.
Yeah, so that's the story of Cygnus.
That's sweet. I like that much better than the rapey Zeus ones.
Well, yeah. I mean, the rapey Zeus one has to do with Helen of Troy Leda of Troy, because she was the mom, and so Zeus was rapey with her, and he produced Helen of Troy, but also Castor and Pollux, which I believe we talked about in the past, so Zeus not a good guy.
So Zeus's rapiness almost basically started the Trojan War then, because...
Pretty much, yeah. Because I think Achilles is also related to somebody. I mean, they're
all... It's like the English monarchy. It's all just rapey and incesty.
Yeah.
So, Cygnus, not only, as we mentioned before, home to Cygnus X1, which is the black hole at the center of our Milky Way. No, Sagittarius A star.
Yeah.
Sagittarius in a completely different constellation. That's why it's called Sagittarius A star. Cygnus X1 black hole.
First black hole.
First discovered black hole. That's the point of fame that my brain was trying to get to, and then was interloped by my brain being dumb. So
no, whatever.
Happens. I exploded super glue all over my hands yesterday. Okay, so let's just. It's fine now, but anyway.
I had gone where? Was that the pizza?
No, this was way before the pizza. This led to us getting pizza because I was just having it. I was just having a time. And I was just being.
I ran to the liquor store.
You ran to the liquor store to get more bourbon, and I exploded super glue all over my hands. Anyway, so Cygnus, home to Cygnus X1, the first yeah, I know, Katie.
And yesterday had started so productive.
And then we got home and just Davison took over, and it was just
for 2 hours.
It was just a mess. Stupid. I was bumping into stuff
from a sliding screen door to super glue. It was stupid.
Anyway, but in Cygnus, there's also a nebula.
I'm sorry. Yesterday is just funny.
Well, I got pizza out of it, I guess.
It was such a great start of the day, too. Anyway. Nebula.
All right. The Veil Nebula, which is visible with binoculars or a telescope. And it actually covers a huge area of the sky.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. 6 times the diameter of the moon. Okay, this nebula covers in the sky. Now, of course, you can't see it with your naked eyes. Even in a dark sky, you can't see it with your naked eyes. You need, at least binoculars to be able to see it. But because of its breadth, people usually study it in sections or observe it in sections because it's so big to, you can't really get it in the full view unless you've got, some powerful stuff. But you can see it, again, with binoculars, hanging out in Cygnus, a sky map app on your phone, or, there's various other tools you can use that can help you locate it if you do have the tools to go and try and look at it.
Yeah, I believe it's a little south of one of the wings.
Yeah. And this Veil Nebula is actually a supernova remnant. So it's a star that was 20 times more massive than our sun. 20 times more. 1 million Earths could fit inside of our sun.
Okay, now mass and size are different.
I know mass and size are different, but I'm trying to make it...
Yes.
Okay, but 20 times more massive than our sun went boom, big bada boom, 10,000 years ago, which means that ancient people could have seen it.
Yeah,
and it would have 10,000.
10,000.
So it would have looked like a very bright star all of a sudden appearing in the sky.
Yeah, because it's 1,400 light years away or something.
I didn't look up that fact.
I think it's 1,500 light years. There might be an extra zero in there, but I do think it's 1,400 light years away. And did James Webb take a picture of it?
I don't know.
I want to say Webb took a shot, obviously not of the whole thing, but of
I don't know. I'll have to look that up because, anything James Webb looks at is oh God, I didn't put in the news that exoplanet system it imaged.
Oh.
And it sees an asteroid belt and then okay.
Right.
We'll bring that up and maybe we can get more. Maybe we can talk more about it in the hangover if we Fomalhaut, yeah. Which is in
down south somewhere.
Okay. Anyway, so the Veil Nebula in Cygnus.
Federico's really the only one who can see it at this point.
Yeah. Oh, it's on the James Webb to-do list.
Oh, okay.
Jack says. Okay. Thank you, Jack. So 10,000 years ago, so ancient people would have seen it as this bright star that all of a sudden brightened, that appeared and was really bright and then eventually faded out of view. So that's something fun. And Google the images of Veil Nebula. Every nebula, anything in space we reference, just Google the images of, but it is a beautiful looking nebula. Another concept...
That should be a drinking game. If we say Google something, it's beautiful, you gotta take a drink.
Google it. Drink. Just Google it, people. You know, don't even watch us. Just Google space.
No, watch us. Watch us. Please watch us.
And then Google space. All right. So, a constellation that is also starting to rise later in the evening now. It's more of a fall constellation, to be honest. It kind of traverses, you know, fall and summer. And that is Hercules. Hercules!
The worst constellation.
It is. Hercules is like how anybody got Hercules out of it. It looks like it's like a weird square with like weird arms coming off of it. I would describe it as a squish spider in the planetarium, which I got from the planetarium master right here.
That's exactly how I described it.
But it's odd. I mean, it's most of it's fairly bright in the night sky, so I mean you can, for the most part, make it out. I would say even in the light polluted area, you can get a good sense of it.
I think somebody saw Orion and then did some shrooms and then came up with Hercules.
Oh my gosh!
Because it just looks. Oh God! It's all right. Anyway.
It's going to be more in the southern part of the sky. In June, it'll be high in the sky around midnight. So later in the evening now, definitely. Again, it's more of a fall time constellation is when like earlier in the evening it's up higher, but it'll be visible in the later hours. And in Hercules, there is a star cluster called the Hercules cluster.
M13.
M13. This is a huge ball of stars, basically. There are several 100,000 stars.
Oh, it was 1 million.
I read several 100,000.
Damn, yeah. Let's go 1 million.
1 million stars.
So, anyway, a while back at least.
Held together by gravity. It's 12 billion years old.
And you're super glue.
It's held together by gravity and the super glue all over my hands.
It's a globular cluster. Actually orbits the...
it's in the halo of our Milky Way, so it's kind of outside the spiral arms. And this is what Jack describes as a guy wearing a kilt who just walked into a spider web and arms were flapping around. Yeah, that's a good description. It's really like if I tried to draw a flailing man, I guess that would be what Hercules looks like, because I just draw stick figures. So in order to get the flailing, I'd have to add arms all over it. It's basically like...
weren't all the guys that were like up in the sky like basically in kilts? And
yeah, pretty much. They're all in like because I think they wore like little kind of skirt things a lot, at least in Greece. Bumped it, or worried it might like topple on us because it's not affixed to the
That
wall.
will be the greatest ending of a show.
Speaking of Ring Nebula, actually, Ring Nebula in Lyra the Harp.
Lyra,
also summertime constellation, so it's rising earlier in the evening. It looks like, we've discussed it many times, it looks like a little, like a stick, one of those little stick figure fishes, you know, or like a little weird off-center bow tie. Bright constellation, and the Ring Nebula is in that. You do need a telescope for the Ring Nebula, however, to
yeah, we've seen it.
We have seen it. It's real. It doesn't look like this. It's real cool.
You gotta take a picture.
By the way, okay, just caveat, which we've mentioned everything before, so maybe I should stop saying as we've mentioned before. But when you look at any of these nebulae or even galaxies and whatnot through a telescope, I'm going to get to that in a second on the chat, through a telescope, they're going to look like hazy black and gray, white and gray blobs. The colors are added in after, and they're added in different ways, and it depends on...
okay, yes and no. But
well, I mean, there is color, but we can't see the color. It's emitting a lot of wavelengths outside of what we can see.
Right.
And we also are adding in color to highlight different elements that are there, like, you know, like blue representing oxygen, or...
Yeah, and that's if you're taking an image that's not in visible wavelengths.
Yeah.
But if you do hook up, like, a camera to the back of your telescope...
Can you get color?
You can get color.
Oh.
Yeah, but the reason why you don't get color when you look at it through a telescope with just... Your eyes?
Your eyeballs?
Your eyeballs is because of the way that your eyes and your brain work. So your eyes are like a camera that takes a short picture. right? And
we don't have enough exposure.
You don't have enough exposure.
We don't have the exposure with the exposure length with our eyeballs.
Yeah, and so you hit it.
Right.
You hit it. You're getting that information with the rods of your eyes, and so it's basically this black and white gray glob. But if you hook a camera up, then the red and the green and the blue capture those photons.
Okay, I didn't actually learn that.
Caught it. Caught it.
I forgot these coasters do stick when they get condensation on them. By the way, I had a coworker that made us. This was a while ago. The Cosmos coasters. She made them for us. April, who's amazing. She doesn't listen to us or watch this podcast, but she made this for us. Anyway, okay, that's good to know. I actually never learned that before, so that's cool. Our eyes just don't have enough, and that's why. Say the and I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but
we have time.
Like pictures from the moon where people are like, it's fake because you can't see any stars. Not enough exposure time to capture the stars. These are still distant points of light, and you need a longer exposure in order to capture them. Yeah, and it's also a contrast thing.
It's also a contrast thing that the moon is so friggin' bright
that it's going to outweigh the stars that are there in the picture.
So you do have to take that, because the moon's so bright, you have to take that short picture, and you don't get the enough photons to build up on the film for you to be able to see them.
Okay, cool.
All right, you're going to get to...
Yes, okay. So Katie showed Adam, her BF boyfriend, a pic of Hercules, and he agrees that it's super funky, so yes.
See, I thought you were going to lead right into Jax.
But there's another constellation that's up there called Boötes, the bear herder. He herds the big and little bears around the sky.
What a fucking
Looks
job
like an
to have.
ice cream cone. And Jack says Boötes wears a space thong as prescribed by George Lucas. Boötes... I mean, yeah, he's just basically like an upside-down triangle with legs and then like a weird thing on top.
I will never see it differently now. I mean, it's not true. I'll see it as an ice cream cone, but...
I mean, Greeks maybe like their thongs back in the day. I don't know. But back to Hercules and the M13, the Hercules cluster. Okay, binoculars are a telescope, this fuzzy ball of a million stars that's super fucking old. And actually, with really dark skies, naked eye visibility.
Yes.
However, it's best to try the averted eye technique, which is where you don't, and this works with the Andromeda galaxy as well, in the constellation of Andromeda, which is definitely more of a fall-time constellation, so that's like way later in the night sky now. But you don't want to look directly at it. You actually want to try to see it out of the corner of your eye, and you'll actually pick it up better.
Yeah, that's because your rods are on the outside.
Those rods.
Yeah.
What do the cones do?
Color.
Oh, okay.
Rods do black and white. That's why dogs have more rods in their eyes, and they can see better at night than we can.
All right. But don't see color
maybe it's
as well
more
as we
evenly
do.
distributed.
So we got better cones.
We got better cones.
All right. Dogs are better. Anyway. Something I learned today that I didn't realize is that we actually sent a radio signal to...
Oh, see, I didn't know this.
To M13 from Arecibo, which is a radio telescope array in Chile.
Rest in peace.
No,
in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico? Sorry. What's in Chile? Atacama. Atacama is Chile. Okay. Arecibo. And we sent a message to the Hercules cluster with all of our private human information, our DNA, what we look like, how we are, where Earth is, what Earth's like same thing with the Voyager record. Like, we're just sending all this personal data out to who knows what is out there.
How did that work out with Independence Day?
Right? Like, maybe be a little bit more...
selective in the information you send off?
Yeah,
maybe tell them it's the fourth planet from the sun that has the life on it.
Just in case. And also maybe not send information of what our DNA is. The building blocks to our life. Let's not send that information out over an unsecured universe server. I'm just saying.
No, this was in the 1970s that we did this.
This was in 1974, and it really wasn't actually like a serious message. Like they weren't really.
But it's the ultimate security breach.
Yeah, it was more of a test of the tech, or a demonstration of our technology at the time. But it's gonna take 25,000 years for that signal to reach the Hercules cluster because it's 25,000 light years away.
Minus the 30 since they sent it.
And that means that anything that wants to send a message back is going to take another 25,000 years once they decide. If there's something there to send anything back, it will take that long. So...
Yeah. No
one's coming anytime soon.
No, when I used to talk about M13 in Planetarium shows, I really, and I didn't have a way to actually show this, but I did try to say, okay, imagine you're on a planet around one of these stars. Mm-hmm. No matter where you are, well, that's not true, but you're... All right, so you're on a planet around one of the stars in M13. You never experience nighttime. You have the sun during the daytime, your sun during the daytime. But if there's millions of stars and they're all tightly bound together, then your night just explodes with stars, and there's so much light that's coming from all these different stars from all these different directions. Imagine how that would affect
evolutionary processes.
Oh, I know, right? I know. Because we would have to take blackout windows with us, just so that we could sleep.
Jack says aliens have decided to swipe right on Earth. I would 100%. They should swipe. Wait.
It's left, right?
Swipe.
No, right. I don't know, but right is I like you. Left is like we're gonna pass.
Oh, I don't know.
I
don't know which directions are, but they should just do whatever the negative is because we're not ready. All right, but anyway, so if you have dark skies or binoculars or telescope, Hercules has the Beehive cluster hanging out in it. Or I'm sorry, not the Beehive cluster. That's next. The M13, the Hercules cluster.
Nice segue though to the next one.
The next one though, all right, we're gonna kick off June with Mars, god of war, hanging out in Cancer. The crab, not the.
Which looks like a big upside down Y.
Not the evil Cancer. It does look like an upside down Y. It's a dim constellation though, so dark sky is really for Cancer.
Yeah, most anything associated with water is dim.
But Mars will be in Cancer, and the beginning of June means nothing for your personal life. And it's actually going to be hanging out with another star cluster called the Beehive cluster.
I've never been able to see a swarm of bees with it. I see the beehive. And so I think the name came from it looks like a swarm of bees. But I've never been able to make that leap in my brain.
Well, maybe it's because the swarm of bees are by their beehive.
Yeah, but there's nothing that looks like it would be like a beehive.
Okay, well, it's the Beehive cluster. Binoculars or telescope are what you need. And actually, this Cancer the Crab is just above the Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux. So this is kind of northwest of Castor, the stars Castor and Pollux, which are the two brightest stars in Gemini.
In my zodiac sign.
Cancer.
Yep. It means nothing.
I know, my grandpa's, Papa Dave, rest in peace.
What was that look?
I don't know how to be like, he's not alive anymore.
Rest in peace.
Pour one out. Let's just pour one on the floor for him.
Oh, no.
Papa Dave, the best. He's a Gemini. His birthday's in June.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And then there will be a full moon on June 4th, as far as the other Kickoff June events. Kickoff June is check out some bees and get a full moon. But don't look directly at that full moon through a telescope without a moon
Or at least,
filter.
yeah. I mean, it's the big telescopes that are going to cause problems, real problems. But it's just best if you're looking at it in a full moon through a telescope, put a lunar filter on there.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so that's what's high in the sky coming up. Some little features for you. Now on to some astronomy news.
Astronomy news.
I should get like a little graphic. I should make a little news graphic.
But that was not like a 1930s.
It could be.
It sounded very circusy or fair like. It sounded. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna get started with some volcanoes on an exoplanet.
Oh, but not here in Oregon?
No. There's plenty of volcanoes near us. Recently...
On my flight from Seattle to Eugene, it's just nothing but volcanoes.
All volcanoes. Welcome to the Ring of Fire. Or part of it, anyway. But TESS, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, found an exoplanet, an Earth-sized exoplanet, LP791-18D.
D.
Which means it is the ABCD.
No, it's the BCD.
Oh, there's no A?
No, the A is the star.
Oh.
It's the third.
It's the third planet.
In the system.
Now, it's in the southern constellation, southern hemisphere, in the constellation of Crater, which is actually a small cup used for wine. So it's basically a goblet constellation, is what it is. But it's covered at this planet, Earth-sized, covered in volcanoes, and similar volcanic activity to Io, one of Jupiter's largest moons. And Io is the most volcanically active object in our solar system. It has over 400 active volcanoes.
Do you notice have why?
Yes, because the other two planets hanging out in the same system, they are very close together, and they pull gravitationally. They have this huge tidal effect on this other planet, and that's similar to Io as well, because the other large moons of Jupiter, they do this, and Jupiter itself do this sort of tug and pull on Io, the moon, creating a lot of internal heat and friction, generating that volcanic activity. And so that's what's happening with this planet, is that it's getting this tug and pull from these other planets orbiting their star, and it's generating all this volcanic activity, this internal heat system.
Yeah, planet C, the second planet, 7 times the mass of the Earth. So really pulling on. It's got a bigger tug.
Got a bigger tug
when it passes by it. But like Io, I think the tidal displacement is something like 40 feet. It's like you go up and down 40 feet.
That is a huge
on Io.
Huge.
Yeah, no wonder it's so volcanically active. And the same for this planet right here.
I mean, that's a lot of activity. So
I just think it's cool that like we see and we understand Io. And
we can use
what's going on, and then we use that information to really quite understand
planetary comparativology.
Planetary
comparativology.
Comparology. I think it's a perfect way of doing it, and I think they put it now on Webb's to-do list.
So it's gonna. I don't think it's looking at that planet though.
Let's see.
It's gonna look at C. Yeah, it's gonna look at a different planet.
Yeah, because with D being so volcanically active, they think that means that it most likely is going to have an atmosphere, and you'd be able to study the atmosphere. And even though D is tidally locked.
I forgot to mention that it's tidally locked, so only one side faces its star.
Yeah,
always.
As it goes around. But it is on the inner edge of the habitable zone for that star. So that means that, like, if you're on the night side, you might have temperatures that, kind of on the bound near that terminator line, but a little bit more on the night side.
Yeah.
the temperatures might be enough to where you can have liquid water on the surface and stuff like that. And so,
would you have earthquakes all the time? Or not earthquakes.
Oh,
but
you're gonna
planetary
have
quakes all the time. I mean, with that kind of just that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so many earthquakes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so I don't.
Not a fun planet to possibly live on.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody is saying that there's like people living there.
Yeah, no.
So that's not being said, but if there is life there, they're shaking and sloshing around.
Check out this crazy shit that's happening.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Speaking of, then, we'll need to get. I didn't look up the article, but James Webb did take an image of a planetarium system, Fomalhaut's planetarium system. Yep. Planetary system. I can't remember how many planets are orbiting Fomalhaut, but it captured actually an asteroid belt.
Yep.
Within the system, and this is the first extrasolar asteroid belt.
Yeah,
that has been captured.
Right, but to be fair, we knew that it had an asteroid belt. But
we didn't see it.
Right, so we knew that it had an asteroid belt with some land base, like down in Chile, Atacama. However, the James Webb, basically, I think it said that it's in 3 parts. So there were parts to this asteroid belt that we did not even know about. Wow. And it's actually much fucking larger than we thought.
Wow.
Like really extending way beyond what would be Neptune's orbit here.
Wow.
So it's huge asteroid belt.
Huge belt.
And it's all because James Webb can see infrared, microwave.
It can see what we can't.
Yeah, and it's so powerful that it actually could see even further out.
Yeah, and so the image, and you see these different rings in the system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, it's a wonder of science.
I mean, really, we're in an amazing time right now where we have James Webb, and Webb and Hubble, but I'm gonna say the great observatories. So Hubble,
Chandra,
Spitzer, Chandra, Webb now. Showing us the universe in all these different wavelengths. The Compton Observatory, which is gamma rays, and so Chandra does X-rays. So we really are getting a view of the universe that we just did not have like 40 years ago.
Well, we have to have this technology utilize or be able to see in these different wavelengths, because we can't. Like we have to put on special glasses in order to see everything, and if we don't have glasses for a specific thing, then we miss out on that's information, that's data that we don't have and don't know about.
Yeah, and I mean within 6 years or so with Hubble, we had already found dark energy. And Hubble had already rewritten the textbooks on astronomy within a decade of it being launched. What are we going to learn from Webb, which is so much more powerful than Hubble and these other observatories? What are we going to learn? I think that we've rewritten the textbooks with Hubble within a decade of its launch. I think we're going to have to rewrite textbooks within a decade of Webb. And we don't know what we don't know, so it's going to be just a really fun ride to see what happens. Anyway, that's my soapbox moment.
All right. Well done. Well, let's bring it a little bit closer to home, to some astronomy news. We have a new reigning King of Moons.
Yes, we do.
Within
Made
the
me
solar
happy.
system. Saturn, famous for those rings, now also famous for the most moons in the solar system and the most moons that we have detected around another cosmological body anywhere, and that is Saturn, which it had 82 moons, but we just found 62 more moons. It has over 100 moons, like 120.
Yeah, it was
moons.
120, 140, whatever. No, it's got to be 140 something if it was 60. Yeah, it's like, so we just found those moons of Jupiter, and Saturn's like, hold my fucking beer.
Saturn's like, no.
Hold my beer.
Wait a minute.
That's so cute with your 12 moons you discovered Jupiter.
Edward Ashton, who's a postdoctoral fellow at the Academia Sinica Institute of Astronomy and Astrophysics, through the Canada, France, Hawaii telescope on top of Mauna Kea in Hawaii. And they use the shift and stack technique because these moons are small, so they're hard to spot. Obviously, we haven't been able to find them for a long time. And Davison's hitting again. So basically what it is that they're taking images that are shifting at the same speed at which the moon moves through the sky to enhance the signal from the moon. And so moons that are too faint to be seen in a single image can then be seen once you stack those images on top of each other. And so that's how they were able to find them. And these are all irregular moons. That means they didn't form with Saturn. They were captured by Saturn. Saturn's just plucking fucking moons out of the fucking solar system. Just like, I want you. And so they orbit Saturn at a very elliptical orbit.
And backwards, right?
And I don't know, but
I think at least some of them are backwards.
some possibly backward. That makes sense. And then inclined off the plane of our solar system, so not in the same plane means that's definitely a telltale sign that something didn't form at the same time as
it was captured. System. And if it goes backwards, it definitely was not part of the original system.
So go Saturn.
Yeah, I was thinking about this today actually. It's like, okay, so I'm Team Saturn. I don't know why at all I want Saturn to have more moons than Jupiter.
Because Jupiter's already the biggest planet.
You know,
you got your big red spot. Let others have something.
I think I did come down on that. It
also, because Jupiter's also the Roman name of Zeus and a little rapey.
Well, a little rapey, yeah. But to me, I mean, Saturn's my favorite planet. The rings are amazing.
Is it your favorite planet?
I will never forget.
If Brandon was here, he could show it off his too.
Yeah, I will never forget the first time I saw it through a telescope.
Oh my god, it's absolutely amazing through a telescope. The first time I saw it was not through that telescope that we have, but
yeah, and there's things that are transformational. I am not a religious person. I know that is a shock.
What?
I know that is a shock to a lot of people.
Oh my god.
I know you might have to rethink everything, but I am not a religious person, but seeing Saturn through a telescope,
that's
as close to a religious experience as I've had. That's the first time I saw it, and I still get chills looking at it through a telescope. It's
beautiful.
Even in a small telescope.
Oh, no, amazing. Yeah. Even in a small telescope. My 4-inch telescope, I've looked at it through that small-ass thing, and it's unreal, because it really is just like, oh, crap. You see the colors, you can see the rings, and and even, I mean, Jupiter with that small telescope, and you can see the bands, and you can see the moons, its largest moons traverse in front of it. I mean, it's really... anybody that, if there is like any kind of star party that is near where you live,
you need to go
I recommend you going to a star party at least once in your life, because you have people there that amateur astronomers that bring their telescopes and have good decent telescopes.
Yeah, and they're passionate.
And you can see things that you really that the general public really doesn't have a way of seeing unless you go to an observatory. Like, you go do like maybe a night tour at Kitt Peak Observatory in Arizona, or these other things that you pay for, whereas usually star parties are usually free. You can show up and you can take a look through the telescopes.
And the people, they're more than excited, more than happy.
They want you to look through their scope. They
want you.
It can be suspicious how bad they want you to look through their scope, but just look through it.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed.
Now, if anybody walks up to you jingling their pocket saying they want to show you some space rocks.
Okay, there's a story.
That's an inside story. That's an inside joke for Mike that I brought that up, but I'm just making a joke about that. You don't need to explain that.
But it's a creepy situation.
We can say that for the hangover.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Saturn, new research also shows, and I didn't do a lot of digging into this because this is just kind of a little caveat, a little supplemental, if you will, Captain's Log, supplemental.
All right.
But Saturn's rings may be younger than previously thought and may only be 400 million years old.
Yeah, so Saturn's rings are transient. They're not... It's not.
They're
like,
not sticking around.
No,
they won't be there
we
forever.
are, and Saturn's rings did not form with the planet. It's not like Saturn formed with these rings around
It's
it.
most likely that a moon got too close, and Saturn's gravity ripped it apart, basically, and the debris formed the rings.
Yeah, and and so we just happen to be alive at the right time,
right place. And I mean, there are some moons that debris from them is contributing to some of the outer rings, like the E-ring or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a moon of particles that are
like Enceladus with its
Enceladus has its stuff coming out and contributes to it. But that material is eventually going to all fall into Saturn, much like
or it's going to move out.
Spacecraft.
It's going to disperse away.
Yeah, so they won't always be here. I didn't write it down, but there is an estimate on how long the rings are going to last. Well throughout our lifetime, though. So, folks, don't get discouraged. You have your entire life to see those rings.
Yeah, and your great
we'll also be able to see those rings. It's going to take a long time.
Galileo saw them. He didn't know he saw them, but he saw them.
No. But 400 million years old. So I believed, I think before it was like they were formed closer to the formation of the solar system. So much older. And so this new research is saying, well, actually, and it was actually using the Cassini mission and data from dust samples collected and analyzing those dust samples to get like carbon dating and whatnot from them.
Yeah, the solar system had been around for 4.1 billion years before those rings formed. Pretty much. If they're 400 million years old, 4.1 billion years Saturn had no rings.
That's...
Or how many times did Saturn have rings and then those rings disappear and then come back? And then did the Earth have rings and then have it disappear?
What's had rings and we don't know about it? I mean, look, Jupiter has a thin ring. Uranus has rings.
All the gas giants.
Neptune has a thin ring. Neptune has a thin ring.
Yeah, they call them ringlets, but it's solid. But when you look at it, it looks like it's not solid.
So rings actually tend to be pretty much a common factor, at least for our solar system. They seem to be kind of a thing, So expect more planets out in the universe to have rings. All right, well, moving on, also closer to home, Blue Origin's Blue Moon is going to be the second Artemis lander for the Artemis program. This is, so SpaceX's Starship is for like these early missions to the moon and getting humans to and back from the moon. But Blue Origin, which is what, Bezos?
Blue Origin, yes.
So it's Bezos, one of the billionaires.
It's a big penis rocket.
It does look like a big dick. It is intended for a crewed Artemis 5 mission launching in 2029. And this is the mission that is basically going to move NASA into like a yearly pattern of
landing on
the moon. And it can carry 50 tons or 45 metric tons of fuel.
Okay, so a lot of fuel.
It features an upper deck communications array, hydrogen tank, oxygen tank, solar array, docking adapter, and room for four astronauts. 4 lucky contenders to the moon.
Yeah, and what's cool about these missions is all 4 of them get to land.
Yeah.
Unlike the Apollo missions.
Yeah, they're actually...
They all get to go down. You go up, you go down.
Touching down on the moon. The contract price is $3.4 billion, which is nothing compared to how much money our military spends.
No.
And Blue Origin is actually contributing...
I think I just heard Leia cartoon it.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Blue Origin is actually contributing more than that amount to the funding.
Okay, but
so,
I mean, they have the money.
Definitely have the money.
They have the money.
So Blue Origin is the.
Well, good for them. Good for them. I mean, I'm not a big fan of billionaires in space, but good for them.
No, but if it gets astronauts to the moon, which is more than just the governmental agency can do at this point. We need the outside capitalists to step in.
I'm all for that.
All right, but if you would like to participate in some space research,
I want to do that.
You can do it when you're bored, when you got nothing to do. You can just hang out. You can be a little amateur astronomical researcher, basically. The University of Arizona researchers are needing people to help them hunt for asteroids. Zooniverse, which is a
ZOON,
like Zooniverse.
Yep.
It's a platform for people around the world to be involved with astronomical research. You can sign up for an account, and there's actually various different things you can do with Zooniverse. You can count craters on the moon. You can do whatever. But the University of Arizona, they're using the Catalina Sky Survey to look for asteroids. And, I mean, there's a ton of images that scientists, these researchers can't look through every single image that's out there. And so, ones that they have computers that can flag some of them, but there's others that maybe get swept to the sidelines. And so they're saying, hey, if anybody's interested, you can sign up on Zooniverse and you can be a part of our project and look through these images that we haven't been able to look through to look for asteroids and comets. Which is important because asteroids and comets are a threat to our existence. There's a lot of them, especially asteroids flying around in space. A lot of them that are designated as NEOs, or near Earth asteroids. And this thing, my iPad was at 45%, and now it's at 5%. Anyway, and so. You can help them look through these images and spot what you think are potentially asteroids and comets, and it doesn't matter if you're wrong. It's based on the amount of people looking, and the more people that are highlighting the same thing as a potential candidate, then can get looked at further by the professionals to then verify or not. And actually you're called a citizen scientist. And 3 of them have actually discovered 64 possible candidates.
I want to be a citizen scientist.
You can. You can.
And I don't say that facetiously.
If you're sitting around bored and you're just I don't know what to do right now, you can sign up on Zooniverse and look through fucking astronomical photos and look for shit.
So your dad, instead of watching
golf, he can just look through different sky survey photos looking for asteroids.
That'll make your mom happy.
And it may be something, and it may be nothing, but it's something that you can do to participate. If you're feeling like you want to participate, it's fine. In astronomical research, but you're not an astronomer, you don't have that education, you don't have that background, you don't really know what you're doing. This is a way you can get involved.
Yep.
So, Zooniverse, and
so sign up and do it.
I don't know what the actual specific project is, but it's from the University of Arizona.
So look it up and do it.
We have a little in memoriam section, and this is not for a recently departed.
No.
This is a remembrance of Skylab,
which I saw.
Skylab, the first American space station, was launched on May 14th, 1973, on the final Saturn V rocket.
Oh, the last one.
The last Saturn V rocket. We have had nothing powerful since to take us back to the moon until this Artemis and Starship, or the Blue Origins and fucking SpaceX bullshit.
Yeah,
because
the Artemis one.
The older astronauts all died, and NASA lost plans, and we didn't know how to make another Saturn V.
But anyway,
Skylab launched 50 years ago.
Oh, wow.
50 years
50
ago.
years ago.
As of May 14th. Obviously, this is airing, and we're doing this live after May 14th. 50 years ago. And it returned back to Earth in the Australian outback in July of 1979.
Yep, I'll never forget it going over my house.
Apparently, it was plagued with a bunch of problems in the beginning. A lot of heat. They had to reorient to a sunshade because they were getting too hot inside. But it was really kind of just a test of establishing a human presence in space.
Yeah.
And that paved the way for the International Space Station.
That and Mir and whatever else the Russians had going on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're not happy with Russia. Right
No, but they did play a significant role in all this.
Russia has played a significant role in space exploration.
And all of that was prior to Putin. It was communist.
It was, yes.
But anyway.
Yes, but...
All right.
Anyway, that's all we got for High in the Sky.
We got
High in the Sky. We got some good astronomy news. We got things to look at. We got things you can do from your tablet or laptop while you're bored.
Yeah, so it was a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are we going to do in 2 weeks?
I don't know.
I know what we're going to do in 2 weeks.
Do you know what we're doing in 2 weeks?
We're doing an award-winning topic. We're doing what everybody has been looking forward to all season long.
What?
Astrology!
Oh, shit!
I got my water sitting under the moon. We're going to be making some moon.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Astrology.
In 2 weeks.
And get ready for Angry Liz rants.
Yes.
But also, prepare to have your horoscope read.
Yes, but the thing is Brandon was like, I'm going to go head-to-head against Liz. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
With what?
I think he's going to play devil's advocate.
He's going to...
okay. Time for some
real content. Astrology.
Yeah, and I think in 2 weeks after that, in mid-June, we should do, because it's Pride Month, Space Gaze.
Space Gaze.
We should do Space Gaze.
Space Gaze. I like that.
As the High in the Sky.
How many Space Gaze have there been?
Oh.
So many Space Gaze.
All of them are gay up there. So
everybody's happy in space.
Everybody's happy in space, yeah. So
all right. I like this. Astrology and then Space Gaze.
And then in July, who knows what we're going to do. But we're working on it. Working on the list.
That's great. So thanks for joining us, everyone. And if you're with us currently, stick around for the hangover.
Yes.
All right. But if you're listening to us, not live and everything, again, thanks for joining us. Stick around or check us out again for the next episode that we have. Astrology, followed by Space Gaze. Check out The Shot on Cosmos with Cosmos.
We need to make some more. We need to make some more.
Shot-sized sips of astronomy and space science. And we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye. I don't know why I did a peace sign. I never do a peace sign.
I always do a peace sign.
I'm glad it was very educational, Mom. Anyway, if you're with us, stick around for the hangover. I have to manually do something here because my iPad died. Apparently, the app that I use to control stuff remotely just battery hogs everything. Yeah. But we'll be right back.
Cheers. Now you gotta do that whole thing over again.
Jesus Christ. I unmuted the wrong thing. Now I don't remember what our initial volume level was at. Okay. Anyway.
Alright, so is our volume...
Yes,
they can
it's
hear us
fine
now?
now.
Alright.
I unmuted the wrong... muted the wrong mic icon.
Thank you, Katie. Alright.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to The Hangover with Cosmos. And we're going to start out with a story that was brought up in the first episode, in the main episode, I should say. So if you're wondering about the origins of this, then check out the main episode of High in the Sky for May-June 2023. But as of now, in The Hangover, we're going to talk about a dude that had some space rocks in his pocket.
Yeah, now, this is a creepy story, so don't think that this is a feel-good Cygnus story. It's not, by any stretch of the imagination.
I brought it up during Cygnus, huh?
This is a creepy story. Alright, so this is back at Arizona Science Center.
Shh, we don't name the name. The place that shall not be named.
Okay, it was an Astronomy Day weekend, and I was amazing at setting up these events.
This was a while ago. This was
before
my Planetarium tenure.
I was really good at setting up these events. I would have all kinds of, people come in. I would have people from ASU, local astronomy clubs that would participate and all that kind of stuff. And it was just a big day where we celebrate astronomy.
One would say it's Astronomy Day.
Yeah. And so there was an astronomy group that would come down and participate. And one of the guys that would participate, he's very passionate, and he had seen a planetarium show. So anybody who participated was allowed to just see any planetarium show they wanted. That's cool. As long as they manned their booth, right? And so they could set it up and people could go see planetarium shows. And the guy went and saw a planetarium show, and he's walking out the planetarium and he has his hands in his pocket, and he asked this little girl if she wanted to see space rocks. So, pieces of meteorite and stuff like that. And basically everything that he said was that every rock that he ever discovered basically was a meteorite of some form or fashion, which is not true. But whatever. This is also a guy where I had done a talk at the place that should not be named. Are you sleepy? Are you tired?
I'm always.
I had given a talk on exoplanets and the methods in which you discover exoplanets.
It was exoplanets? Really? What year was this? Roughly.
Oh, I don't remember, but it was one of those Friday night things that they had once a month.
Yeah, Adults Night Out.
Adults Night Out. So I gave a talk on exoplanets and how the methods that you use, and he came up to me afterwards and said that he had a model that can discover exoplanets everywhere, and it basically, I don't know, it used something like prime numbers or something. It was something that just was not legit.
Okay.
But anyway, so he goes up to this little girl afterwards, and I am walking everybody out. And these are the last three people to leave. There's me, the astronomy club dude, the little girl, and the little girl's dad. And astronomy dude has hands in pockets, basically just shaking something in his pocket. And he goes to the little girl, "Do you want to see some space rocks?" Now, to be fair, the guy really had rocks in his pocket. It was not, he was not being ready to be put on a list somewhere, you know. But the dad did not take it that way, and rightly so. The guy had his hand in the pocket. He's shaking something. You don't know what he's shaking.
Yeah, what kind of space rocks are we talking about?
And it seemed really creepy, and I could not get between him and the astronomy guy quick enough. The dad, you could see the dad wanted to murder him. It was, he thought that his little girl was being assaulted, and I can completely understand.
Ballsy to do it with a dad right there.
But in Astronomy Dude's defense, he really had rocks in his pocket, and he was not thinking in terms of this could be interpreted as
someone isn't
something sexual.
Someone isn't the best at social
and
interactions.
He does not pick up on social cues very well, or he didn't, and this was just another example of that. And I mean, it's something that he's passionate about, and he wanted to share that with this little girl.
It's meteorites in just their pockets.
Exactly. What he needed to do was just take his hand out of the pocket.
Show the space rocks.
And show the space rocks. And it would have gone, the quote-unquote space rocks, and it would have gone completely different.
Or maybe preface with, hey, I'm with XYZ Astronomy Club. Do you want to see some meteorites? Do you want to see some space rocks? Also known as meteorites.
Yes.
Just a little preface on, hey, who I am. What relevance I have.
Yeah, and I do think that most everybody would probably do something along those lines. But
astronomers, amateur astronomers, are not always the most socially or adept people. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had the best intentions. But it just...
Did the little girl get to see any space rocks?
Not from him at that time.
Okay.
So...
What did you eventually get?
I shepherd the dad and the girl out. And I basically explained to him what the situation was.
He's fine. He's just got meteorites in his pocket.
He's fine. He truly does have rocks in his pocket that he thinks are from space, and so
they're not necessarily like meteorites. Did you see the space rocks?
I did not see the space rocks, but I did not see him pull them out of his pocket, but I did see his rocks at other times. And
were they space rocks?
Most of them look like rocks that you would pick up in a desert landscaping backyard of Phoenix, Arizona.
So most of them look like just normal Earth rocks.
Yeah, and
nothing spacey about them.
No, and none of them were magnetic, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. But magnetized rocks are a good clue. But at least for certain meteorites, and none of them look pitted. None of them look like they had come through an atmosphere and undergone heating.
Meteorites definitely have a certain look to them.
Yeah, and it's because they're coming through the air, and the air heats and actually erodes part of it, and you see these little eddies.
Pockets.
You see little pockets, and so meteorites have a definite look to them. And this just didn't have it in any kind of way. And, I never felt comfortable saying that these are not meteorites because I wasn't,
you weren't
an expert,
and you don't want to
but I was like, have you taken it down to ASU? Because ASU did have a meteorite studies program, and they had to, and they would allow you to send rocks in, and they would analyze. The problem was they got so many rocks, and so many rocks were not what they were. They eventually said, "You can't send any more rocks in. We don't want to receive any more."
Yeah.
But you can take pictures, and if it's something that looks like it, then we might request it. But I think it was ASU's Center for Meteorite Studies, and
in fact, they have if you go to Arizona, if you're in Arizona, you can go to ASU and you can actually tour their facility, and they have like a life-size Curiosity rover on display.
Yeah, or was it Spirit or Opportunity?
I know they had Curiosity.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. They have like a moon rock you can see behind bulletproof glass.
Yes, which is really
which
cool.
is really cool. And they have a whole other like upper floor where they have like meteorites on display, and there are a couple that you can touch, like these big older ones that you can actually touch, and then others that are in cases and everything. So it's actually a really cool facility that even if you're not being a student at ASU, you can actually go and just check
so
out.
next time you're in Phoenix, go check it out. I mean, seriously, they do have an actual moon rock.
Moon rock from the moon.
And it really is behind bulletproof glass.
Because it's like a big piece, so that's worth like
priceless. It is absolutely priceless. And
we have like a little tiny one on our bookshelf that came in a thing.
It's just a sliver of a sliver. And I don't know if I ever told you this story. So I had gotten it to give it to you as a gift, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had opened it up and it fell out. I got it back. But it was like, oh man. Might not be a...
Did Brandon give us the space shuttle coin? Or did you get that space shuttle coin that we have? It's like, because we have the Apollo coin that's in the thing, protective plastic, and then we have one that's like a space shuttle, and it has all the space shuttle missions on the back, and I don't know if it has anything to it, but it's in a plastic case. I dropped that putting it up, and it cracked, and so you can actually open the plastic to it and take the coin out.
Yeah.
Which I did, and I felt it. And then I put it back in and put it on the bookshelf.
Should we tell them about the Buzz Aldrin? Did we tell them about the Buzz Aldrin poster for here?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so our new house. So when we came and looked at this house that we're currently in, one of the children's bedrooms, there was a poster from a Costco event where Buzz Aldrin was signing books, and the poster is signed by Buzz Aldrin. And we said, Mike half jokingly said to their realtor, because our realtor couldn't make it down for the showing, so we had it shown to us by their realtor, the seller's realtor, half jokingly said, like, if we buy the house, can we keep this? Will they leave this poster? And
they said yes.
They said yes. And then we said they can totally keep it. We're not going to take this from their children.
It was their kid. It was in a kid's bedroom.
It was in the kid's bedroom. So we're like, no, they can keep it. Like, that was very generous. But, after we made the offer on the house, we were like, they can keep it. We're not going to take it from children. And then we come and move in, and there's a note on the countertop, and they're like, we left Buzz for you. And so we have an autographed poster from Buzz Aldrin.
We need to put it behind glass.
Costco book signing.
It is not behind glass.
It's not behind glass. We're going to put it behind glass.
We see it, and Liz goes, that's Buzz Aldrin. And she touches it.
I did. Well, of course I touched it.
Yeah. And Katie, it's actually in your room.
It's in the room that you'll be staying in.
Yeah.
Of course I touched it.
Yeah, but I was I don't know why, because you don't see the glass. You don't see glass, but I just assumed it was behind glass.
Yeah, we both assumed it was, and I was like, I touched it, and I was like, this is not, this isn't behind glass or anything. And I was like, all right. So we have a poster of Buzz Aldrin's signature.
Second Man on the Moon?
A book signing at a Costco. I'm assuming that Eugene Costco that we're near, so which was really cool to inherit with the house. So
yeah, and I mean,
to inherit with the house, to purchase with the house.
Thank you for previous owners.
Thank you for leaving the Buzz Aldrin.
For leaving the Buzz, they're listening to this.
We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we immediately noticed
honed in on it.
And we immediately honed in on it. I was
like, oh my god, this is signed by Buzz Aldrin. Holy shit.
Yeah, and no, we got it. And so maybe it'll make an appearance in one of these podcasts. But
we could frame it and then put it on, depending on what we do on our background. We can put it up.
But to me, it's the coolest thing about this house.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love this house. This house suits us.
Speaking of signatures, we have Spock over here, which no one has seen before. That image given to us by one podcast mom who received that from Leonard Nimoy. She had that signed. It's signed to my mom from Leonard Nimoy. So it's hanging out. Whether it stays there or not, I don't know. But
before we moved here, we were at your parents' house, and so one of my favorite things, parts of the day was, and we didn't do this every day, but one of my favorite parts of the day was just sitting downstairs with your mom, watching Star Trek. It was very much like. It was like watching Star Trek with my dad, you know. It's just one of those. It's one of those moments that are, are special, or And so watching Star Trek, original OG Star Trek, and then watching the Next Generation
on the
right
H&I channel.
Yeah, heroes and incapacitated
icons,
people. Oh, icons,
yes. Maybe. Yeah. Star Trek. They have OG Star Trek, followed by Next Gen, followed by Deep Space Nine,
followed by all this other stuff.
Voyager,
and then Enterprise.
Okay, usually we'd watch old school Star Trek, and then a little bit of Next Gen while dinner was being made or whatever. And
then we would watch something else with them, and then. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Would you oh god, what were we talking about? It must have been Blue Origin.
Would I go to Mars, Moon?
Would you go to the moon?
Yeah. I have one life, one existence possible in this universe, in this entire universe that I am lucky to exist in, because it is a hostile place.
He's trying to kill you.
And if I had the chance to go to the moon or Mars, I mean, what other,
is it
what other lifetime, that's would be.
Would you make it a one-way trip? Would you just go and land and then say, okay, I'm done with it?
I mean, what better place to die than would be on not the Earth? Everybody dies on the Earth.
All right, so I guess I have to go with you, is what you're saying?
And the dogs.
Oh, that look was, I'm going without you.
No. I mean, you can come, but I'm saying, I mean, everybody. Although, can you be mummified in space?
Well, I'm sure you can.
If you died in the moon or Mars, can you be mummified in some way? I really want to just be mummified. Is really. I won't know.
Well, I
mean that, or maybe a Viking funeral pyre, but
I'm sure they can do some stuff and then just throw you out on the Martian desert and you'd mummify pretty quick.
But I mean, that would be an experience that is. I mean, that would be the only once in a lifetime experience. That's the true once in a lifetime experience.
I would do it.
I mean,
I would do it even if it's one way.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't like for it to be one way.
Yeah,
I would like to go.
No one wants to leave their family and friends and all that, but I mean, to have that experience of being going off world,
Yeah, I mean the furthest we've ever gone.
The furthest humans have ever gone.
Well, no. The furthest you Mars. And I have gone.
Well, yeah.
Off the surface of the Earth, 35,000 feet, and that's just flying from here to there and everywhere else.
Yeah. But I mean, that would be an experience that. How can you not take that?
Yeah, I know, right? Just to travel through space, yeah. You know, the crazy thing is, though, is that, so, traveling, you leave Earth, the Earth recedes away from you, you watch it recede, And then it's just kind of inky blackness for a while. And then Mars slowly comes into focus.
Yeah, I mean, the space sky would just look like a really dark night sky.
Yeah, and even you would still even be able to see stars around the sun. And because there's no atmosphere messing with you.
And still don't want to look directly at the sun.
You still don't want to do that, no matter where you're at.
No.
But
maybe Pluto? No, not even Pluto.
Oh, actually.
Maybe?
No, Pluto is just the sun's a really exceedingly bright star, but not like here.
Okay, so could look directly. Maybe you could look directly at the sun at Pluto.
Yeah, and I don't have to worry about getting sued for saying that
because nobody's gonna be going to Pluto to look direct, and not in your lifetime to be sued at the very least.
No. But I mean that brings up the whole like the sci-fi thing, which I've asked before in regards to Star Wars. How come not everybody wears sunglasses in Star Wars?
Right, the sunglasses thing.
Yeah, or so the sun's too bright, or the sun's too dim. The opposite end of that.
Maybe everybody puts like they do with universal translators. They just put like eye drops in their eyes, and then they can accumulate to any planetary system's star.
The light from the star intensity, the sun intensity. But yeah, I mean, for us on Pluto, how dark would it be? On Pluto, how would it be for us to land on Mars? This actually would be a real world thing because you are going to have people land on Mars. So the Mars is 1.5 the distance from the sun as compared to the Earth. And so you're not receiving as much sunlight, and so is it going to be more like being at twilight at the end of the day or early morning?
I mean, there are sunset pictures from Mars from the rovers that it shows like a nice like a blue sunset.
Right, but that doesn't give you a sense of how bright it is on the surface. And even then, I'm sure that the cameras on the rovers are attuned for the actual brightness.
Well, at night on Mars it's going to be pitch fucking black. Because there's absolutely no light pollution from a single thing.
Even with Phobos and Deimos zipping across the sky.
Yeah, it's going to be pitch... Because those moons, Phobos and Deimos, are small. They're not like our moon. They're not going to be reflecting a lot of light onto the surface, where a full moon, it could be like, oh, is it daytime?
Yeah.
It would be... I don't know. It would be terrifying to be... It'd be kind of terrifying to be on Mars at night, because it would be just...
So
dark. A darkness that I don't think any human currently
has
ever experienced, because we have so much light pollution and light technology that we don't ever experience a true
That's alive now.
That's alive now. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, that's alive now. Obviously, people in the past, before electronic lights, or even before, I mean, oil lamps are not even that... don't light up a lot of stuff, but before any fucking light other than a campfire, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you basically you would have to be like back prehistoric times, before candles, before all of that.
Dinosaurs didn't light fires.
And at a new moon where there's just no moon.
No, yeah.
And then the sun sets and twilight goes with it, and it's just an inky blackness.
Yeah.
I mean,
but can you imagine the night sky?
You do have the stars, but those don't provide.
They're not providing any light, really. Right. It's more like just an effect.
If something is like at our window, do we see them?
No.
In the inky blackness.
No.
So, I say we do it. Let's go to Mars.
Are we doing?
Let's sign up.
Okay. All right. Well, family, we're going to Mars.
I mean, you can come with us. You're more than welcome to come with us, but...
No. I mean,
we moved to Oregon among the reasons to be closer to your family. Mm-hmm. I don't see us going to Mars.
We're not eligible to go to Mars.
Oh, I'm definitely not. Heart condition, can't hear. I got to wear contacts.
I don't know how to do math.
I
can't.
Overweight. No. I don't like people. You know?
I mean, look, the 2029 is currently the schedule for, as I mentioned in the main episode, which you can listen on any of your podcast platforms or on YouTube. 2029 for just like a yearly trip to the moon for astronauts. And that is not, and then they're looking, Mars isn't even the plan until like at least the 2030s.
Yeah.
So it's...
But that's not far away, relatively speaking.
Yes, but also it is, in the sense of, it's not, this progression, it also is not definite, because it hinges on... Politics. It hinges on the financial aspect of it, and currently NASA is relying on these corporations such as Blue Origin, SpaceX, which are, as well as there's Orbital Dynamics, and there's some other ones, where they're relying on those companies to help with that exploration, and there's no saying that they'll even be around. Like there's anything that could collapse them. Look at Elon Musk and his Twitter debacle, and how much money he's fucking lost from that bullshit.
But also just, politically, you can have all kinds of things happen.
You can have a ton of things happen politically. We're very, very close. Scarily close to a Handmaid's Tale, and that's gonna set everyone back many years.
That's very true.
Next year, so there's a lot of different things that can happen that can then set us back from those goals. And so the human presence in space beyond Earth is delicate and not set in stone, and is something that is going to take a long time to even build. And we're not even at the point of even considering human habitability on a planet like Mars, which is going to take a substantially more money and resources.
But I do think that getting people on the moon.
The moon is definitely an easier.
Okay, but what I was going to say is that getting people on the moon is going to fuel an enthusiasm and a passion to go beyond. I
hope so, but at the same time, it's not the 60s anymore, so it's not a novel thing, and so it's not with everything that's happening on the Earth in terms of just bullshit as far as trans rights, which is the most ridiculous thing ever for people. Why are we having this conversation? Let people be who they are. Who fucking cares?
Okay, never mind. I know this is a hangover, but Mississippi, some school district in Mississippi didn't let
graduate because they didn't, walk because they wanted to walk
they didn't even let them
dressed
in.
As a female.
Yeah.
It's a high school graduation. I was wearing jeans and some shitty ragged Vans that you can see in the images. And after my class graduated, they implemented a dress code for graduates.
All because of you.
And I think most likely so.
But she even went to her prom in a dress, and there was no issues. But anyway, I think the difference. Okay, but I think that I cannot believe I am trying to rein you in on this. But anyway, but I think the difference is that getting people to to the moon will be novel at first. However, we have never sent people to Mars, and so
but.
So I think there's going to be, Okay, we send people to the moon, brought them home. Eventually, we're going to send people there, and they're going to stay.
But, the problem is, as soon as the first person or mission goes wrong and somebody dies, there's then going to be a huge setback in terms of time and
True.
and everything.
True.
Because then it's like, oh, is it worth it?
Yes,
People die.
it's
But yet,
true.
and then how many people are dying from mass shootings in the U.S. and no one does shit about it?
Okay, but we have had Apollo 1, and we still landed people on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
We have had
the
Challenger explosion, and we still sent the shuttle up.
Yes.
But yes, to your point though, we do take a step back.
This is even, I would say, even with the step back with those, this is even exponentially more because
No, I agree with you.
It's a whole new and different.
And I'm going to be honest, we're going to lose people.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we're going to lose people. This is not.
There's no way that no human being going either back to the moon for good or that was a little Planetarium reference for good.
Oh.
From back to the moon. Or to Mars plus eventually that anybody's going to die. I mean, the whole like Mars Matt Damon what's it called?
Martian.
The Martian.
That's gonna happen at some point.
That is a plausible scenario, other than the whole winds don't have the strength to knock shit over on Mars. There's a lot less gravity. It's not.
You're not gonna completely a plot point, but
you're not gonna have shit knocked over like that, and you can grow asparagus.
Yeah.
And I guess.
Potatoes?
I don't know, but like people are going to die because people have died throughout history when any new exploration has taken place. If you think of any of our periods of exploration, people have died, and to your point, we've continued to persevere, pun intended, with Perseverance rover. We've continued to persevere through that to expand our exploration, but I would say with space, it's heightened, and people, the general public, don't understand how much of what they utilize in their daily lives is because of space exploration.
Right, but also the general public also sees space travel now very much like they do getting on a plane. It's safe. And
William Shatner can do it, and he's 93.
But the thing is I think that when NASA does go to the moon, in 2025, I think it's when we're going to put the first. So I think even with Artemis 2, I think that there needs to be a campaign of it's dangerous. It's dangerous. There needs to be real talk.
Yeah, I think it needs to be not like, oh, yeah, we can do this, blah, blah, blah. But I think it needs to be like, yes, it is very possible and plausible and realistic and most likely that people will die. Oh, no.
There's not most likely. People will die.
People will die on this expansion of exploration. Anytime
that you launch on a rocket, the astronauts tell you're sitting on a controlled explosion. And it really only takes an O-ring that shrinks for an explosion to occur, and it kills everybody, or for a hole to open up in the wings.
I think that it's important for the public to acknowledge that the astronauts who are doing this, they know this. They 100%, and I would say more percentage, but that drives Mike crazy because you can't have more than 100%. The astronauts 100% know the risks. They're willing to die for this experience, to die for this exploration, and I would caveat's the wrong word. I would also say throughout all the ages of human exploration, hundreds, thousands of people have died, whether it is taking off in boats to find new trade routes, or if it is the expansion west in the U.S. for the United States. You know, the Oregon Trail, we've all played Oregon Trail and we've all died of dysentery or a fucking snake bite. Although I would say there is no card for cannibalism in all of Oregon Trail. But anyway.
Oh, there isn't.
There isn't.
Is there?
And there should 100% be. But, you know, all of human exploration to, you know, that final frontier. And really, it is true. Space is truly the final frontier. I mean, yes, there's a lot of places on the Earth that have gone unexplored, such as the depths of the ocean, but those aren't realistically habitable environments or anything. They're worth study, and we need to know them. You know, but as far as like the frontier and expanding our civilization, especially for our own preservation, because the sun's not going to last forever, and we need to develop the technology or figure out the physics to leave our solar system in order for our species to survive, which is 100%. It sounds conspiracy, but is not conspiracy because the sun has a lifespan and we can observe that in other stars throughout our fucking universe. And we see evidence of what can happen, you know, so it is important that we, if we want to exist as a species, to leave the Earth, and the only way to do that is through these experiments. They're all experiments. Going to the moon, having people stay on the moon, going to Mars. These are experiments until we have a tried and true method and way of
but I think
transport and habitability.
Oh, okay. For the
habitability portion of it. And we know how to get shit places.
Okay, but it's not like NASA. It's not like anybody that's launching these astronauts are... They realize there's a risk, but they're also not going to just...
They're not going willy-nilly. They're not.
And so they actually, you know, they have tested stuff. They have, you know, they have a game plan.
Well, yeah, it's not like any of these methods are just like, oh, let's see if it works. It's all been tested and it's...
But here's the politics of it.
Oh, God.
From me. And, okay. So if here's the question that's rooted in politics from me. If all of you people are upset when astronauts die, and to be fair, yes, it is upsetting. I will never forget Columbia. I will never forget Challenger. I know exactly where I was for both when I found out. But if you are more upset about that than you are about mass shootings,
dying from guns that could be totally preventable.
Yeah, if you're more upset about that, which impacts a few people at a time, than you are about shootings, mass shootings, particularly here in the United States, because...
No other country has this problem.
No other country has this problem. If you are more upset about the astronauts dying
than you are than somebody using the bathroom for a gender that they feel more appropriate to use.
Or, I was going to say, for needless wars.
Okay, yeah,
than
that too.
Where people die.
Yeah, like Russia and Ukraine.
But to do the trans things, if you are more upset about the astronauts dying than the many trans people who are murdered in this country every single year because they are trans,
or just want to play sports,
then
a game, means nothing.
You need to shut the fuck up. It's. Anytime that you go do these things, look, there's risk in everything, but to advance society, to advance scientifically, there's always a risk, and this is
it's a worthy risk,
and it is a worthy risk. And I am not saying that I want people to die. for me, the most perfect outcome is
dies.
that nobody dies.
Everything works perfectly 100%
Everything works perfectly.
of the time. How often does that happen statistically?
But it doesn't. It doesn't. So people are...
Which is why I should never go to the moon or Mars, because I exploded hot glue over super glue over my hands just yesterday.
They're going to watch this podcast. They're going to see you.
From trying to open the super glue.
They're going to watch this podcast, see you hit the microphone, and go, nope, she's out.
I can't control my limbs. Obviously, I'm not a worthy candidate.
Yeah.
They clearly test for your ability to move your limbs properly.
But I do think the benefits
outweigh
the risk, and that we should do it. And you know what? In all honesty, I would sign up if I knew that they would accept me and you together and we could go together. I would sign up in a heartbeat.
Look, if you only got accepted and I didn't,
I wouldn't go.
I would let you go. I'd say I force you to go. I would then blindfold you and kidnap you, and I'd shove you on the shuttle, and I'd be like, he's on it. Boot him up.
Look,
strap him in.
If there's one thing...
Put his suit on.
If there's one thing...
I'll put your suit on, and then it'll be like, I'm putting your suit on. Let's pretend we're in space, and then I'll shove you off to NASA and be like, here you go. He's ready.
If there's one thing that you and I both know about each other, is that we're both stubborn as fuck, and we're not going to.
So I would force you to go.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'd force you, but I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, I'm going too. Let me go, please. I'll be the custodian on the ship.
Katie, you'd have to take Jack and Leia, because I don't know if Mom can handle both of them with the Aussies, because they're a lot.
They are a lot.
I mean, I know Brandon would volunteer to take Jack at least, but we can't split them. They're too bonded.
No, we went to Eugene.
And Poe will just have to tolerate winter.
We went to Eugene yesterday because we needed to go to a couple of stores. Eugene's about 45 minutes away. She said I could handle them. There were 2 fluffy dogs.
Oh my God, we almost got another dog.
We almost got one. But
shepherd mixes, and then yes, Poe does secretly love winter. She just won't admit it because Poe's a stubborn bitch.
But the thing is like so it was a brother and sister. I did not want to separate them, but the thing is that we have to have a boy. We have to have a boy dog because of
Leia's
Leia.
Too dominant of a lady.
Though Leia, if it's a puppy,
that little puppy girl that was black with a white on her neck, just like Leia and Jack, especially Leia. Oh my God, she would have.
There were 2 fluffy dogs I wanted, but I also wanted that little black lab mix of some kind. I really.
Jack says we should have left for our Utah. Jack says on Instagram, we should have left this for our Utah neighbors. And it was a couple signs that says Jesus matters and all the gods matter. We should have just left one that said Zeus matters. I like to play the Zeus card. I like to be like, Zeus Almighty.
So I don't know if we ever mentioned this. We probably did, but we had flags that were stolen. So we tend to fly flags, because we like to voice our opinions.
We currently have a standard American flag in our garage window. We have a huge, a very large garage that has attic space we could build into, but there's a window and there's currently a regular typical American flag in it.
We can't get to it.
We can't get to it because we don't have a ladder tall enough to replace it with our pride American flag.
I forgot to grab it.
I think.
No, we cannot stand on your car.
No. I think I can climb onto the beams, and I think I can get up there. Ugh. I have a gymnastics background, and
how's your back?
My back is fine.
What's your last name?
Look, okay, even though, ironically, I don't know if this is ironically, but ironically, Beam.
No, it's ironic.
Beam was my best gymnastics. The balance beam.
Yeah,
I gotta agree with your mom. I'm gonna say it again for the audience. The balance beam was my best gymnastics event. I scored the highest in that event, and it was the most enjoyable for me, was the balance beam. And so I think I could get up there and climb up there, and I think I could change that flag out.
The whole I'm like, all right,
like with I need I could climb on our car, but I mean, if we had we need some sort of ladder.
Right.
But
okay, after the podcast,
I think I cannot do it after having drinks.
You did not let me finish.
Okay.
After the podcast, we'll go look at it. We're not doing it today because you've had drinks.
Yeah.
But we bought hooks.
But we have hooks to hang a pride flag on our front porch fence. Front porch.
Yeah, we're gonna
deck.
put it. And I don't know if so if the American pride flag,
the bi flag,
then it'll be the bi flag that goes out front. But I think at first the American pride flag goes up.
Yeah, but we gotta change that American flag.
No, I have a new one.
No. I'm saying we got to replace the typical American flag.
No, we do have to.
I am very confident I can get up there and I can.
Even Jack says no climbing.
I can climb real well.
All right.
We need a ladder that I don't think you can transport over here.
Yeah. Wait.
You don't have a ladder.
I forgot the ladder.
Unless you have a folding ladder.
I did not put the ladder.
Yeah, we
on
forgot.
The truck.
I saw it. I mean, I saw it in the shed, and
I saw it as well.
I just left everything in the shed because I was like, well, I don't know what can fit.
But it was also we were so tired. But we're gonna put it up, and it'll be interesting to see.
Amazon does deliver. I know
they do.
Ladders are surprisingly expensive.
At Jerry's. What's Jerry's thing? What did they say?
Better head at Jerry's.
No, better head for Jerry's.
Better head for Jerry's.
So,
this is a hardware store, and I love this hardware store. It is.
Oh my God, she does.
It is huge. It is like Home Depot on steroids.
All I hear about for 2 weeks is Jerry's.
Hardware store, and he is under enthused about it, and I don't know what to do with that because I am very excited about it.
I'm under enthused?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, all right. So all I hear about for 2 weeks is Jerry, and we're gonna go to Jerry's. And so I'm looking forward to going to Jerry's yesterday. And we get there, and the very first thing I see underneath the sign is "Better Head for Jerry's."
That's the slogan.
And I don't say anything. But the first thing that my brain immediately goes, middle school with this.
And then I go, they don't have the best slogan.
And I was like, thank you, because now I can talk about it.
And now I could also talk about it, because if I brought it up before you went to Jerry's, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't know.
I would have immediately gone, that's not a good slogan. That's not. And so we had this discussion before we even get to Jerry's, like, you know what? Every single corporation needs to have
a middle school panel.
To
test their
There's
slogans.
There's like 5 of them, and they're all paid $1 million a year. And you give them your slogan. So for these middle schoolers,
if they start laughing immediately
then
and then making jokes,
it's
out. Your slogan cannot pass the middle school test.
All they really needed to.
Just
no, you can't even say that.
And then I was gonna say, I'm guessing this is related to hammers somehow.
I was gonna say better head at Jerry's, but even
no,
then, that's not good either.
I mean, maybe that'll get actually more people in.
Because
they're like, it's not for Jerry, but it's at Jerry. So if I go to Jerry's, then
and it'll be all guys that are there.
Oh my God. But it's a huge.
No, I did enjoy Jerry's. Don't get me wrong, I did. It is better than these other stores that exist. But it's good. They have a lot of great stuff. They have a lot of great stuff, and it's huge.
It's just a huge Home Depot.
It is.
And everybody's so friendly, but it's huge.
And the thing is, and I think it's the friendly part, and you can easily go up to somebody.
We had the most friendliest checkout person at Target. At Target! And she was so nice. And I was like, where are we that people are just so nice around here? Because
I say we, it is me. I've only met 2 people that were not friendly.
And they were...
they were the Oak Ridge
City
folk. Which we're going to have to deal with when we register Jack and Leia. But everybody has been friendly, which is not... Okay, let me preface this. Let me just say, they have been, yes, it is a better target than Bend.
Yes.
For your mom.
It's huge. It's huge. It's ginormous. But it's also not as cluttered and disorganized as the Bend one.
People are friendly in Utah, but it's a different friendly.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very suspicious friendly. It is suspicious. Yeah. The people here are genuinely friendly.
They seem very nice. I mean, I know they're doing it for, like, the lady that when I got the weed whacker, she was like, oh, and I'm going to stick this on here so that, have my personal, so if you have any questions, but really it was so she can get whatever commission or whatever recognition for helping somebody in the store. Like, I get that, but she was still super sweet and nice. Cult friendly equals Utah. Yeah. Yes. Yep, that's 100%. Exactly what it is. Cult friendly.
It is cult friendly.
It is a cult friendly.
And this is really weird to say, but nobody has come to visit us here in our new house.
None of our neighbors. They've seen us. They've waved at us. We've waved back.
Yes. And to me, that is one of the most beautiful things.
Nobody has come over to our door to introduce themselves and say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood, or blah, blah, blah. And that is perfectly 100% fine with us. We've waved at people, they've waved back, and then they've all retreated into their own
I have even said, hey,
areas.
How's it going? To the people across the street, and they went into their house. And, the thing is like, Liz and I, we're not people. At all, and
people are friendly in Bend. People are friendly in Bend.
No. I have not had a bad experience.
No, in Oregon, we're saying in Oregon. In Oregon, we have not had any even real asshole people that we've had to deal with.
When we were in Burns and stop at the grocery store, at the gas station.
They're so nice at the gas station. The gas attendant loves to give our dog treats.
Yeah, and
he'll ask, be like, "Can I give your dog treats?" And we'll be like, "Yeah."
Yeah, and we go in, we pull into a gas station. Liz goes in
to pee.
Well, yeah, it goes in to pee.
Need at that point.
I fill up the car. I then move the car, walk the dogs.
In Oregon, if you don't know, you can't do your own gas. No. People have to do your gas for you, which I absolutely abhor, and it leads into unnecessary social interaction, which I had to have the other day when I got gas here in Oak Ridge with a young girl. I would say young, meaning probably, I don't know, whatever the age is that you can work at a gas station, somewhere in that range, from minimum to not far into the 20s.
Right.
And she talked to me about this Jurassic Park sticker that I have on my car that says Clever Girl above the brand of my car, which is Jeep Renegade, so it says Clever Girl Renegade, which Mike got to me. And so she was letting me know that she knows what that's from, and then she has all the Jurassic Parks. And that, I can't remember what one her favorite was, but it led me into a whole interaction and conversation with her that didn't need to be had if I could just fill my own fucking gas tank, Oregon.
Anyway, but then, so she would come out, walk the dogs, I would go in, and I always would wear, my punk jacket, which really is kind of a traveling jacket for me. You have did you refill, by the way?
I have not refilled my glass. I am on drink number 1.
And so I would go in, I would pee because I needed to, and then it's the final 2 hours to your parents.
And the dogs pee while I'm peeing.
Yeah, but the guy behind the counter would always tell me he liked my gear because I'm wearing my punk jacket. And so I haven't had, and these are...
Burns is very Trump country.
It's very Trump country.
Burns, Oregon is very...
But there has not been, save 3 people in Oregon that I have not had to get.
Yeah, even the guy at the DMV was super. He messed
super
up our
nice.
paperwork too, and he was apologetic, and then he was super friendly and nice. Even though it cost a little shit ton more than we thought it would to get our cars registered and real IDs. But we both have our real IDs. We can fly, even though he had a passport. Whatever.
Yeah. But, Oregon, it surprised how it was not... I have had just a happy experience
doing
with
your
most
own
everybody.
gas is fairly recent. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, you didn't know that?
Dad's always done his own gas since I could remember in California, and I couldn't wait until I could do
Oregon.
my... Yeah, but, I mean, no, but just... In general, doing your own gas, Oregon is, like, way behind the times.
No, I think they recently passed a law that said...
No. It's a proposed thing to the legislature.
No.
It's not passed.
They are old-fashioned because doing your own gas is fairly recent.
Doing your own gas is not fairly recent in terms of other states.
Okay, no, I got you. On the border, though, with Idaho, it's not. You do your own gas.
Yeah, on your border, it's fine. I'm saying, no, doing your own gas is not fairly recent in terms of other states because you get that.
Oh, but I don't think your mom's saying that. I think she's saying for Oregon.
No, because Oregon hasn't been able to do their own gas for anything.
Okay, well, maybe she will
Mom, clarify. But no, because as far as I have been alive, Dad has gotten his own gas, and I had been excited to drive so I could do my own gas, and I could go to the Rotten Robbie in Alamo, and I could fill up my own gas tank. And I was like, this is what it means to be a grown up.
Oregon is the only place I've ever experienced where you don't have self-serve.
Iowa only let you do your own gas. Really? So Jack is under the same thing where other people have to fill up his gas?
Iowa only, do your own gas. And I guess so.
In the 1980s? Okay.
Yeah, well, so that means that he's under the same thing.
I thought this was always a thing where most areas people could do their own gas.
I guess not.
It's not rocket science. You put the thing in and you hold the thing and you press the button.
Everywhere I've lived except for Oregon, you could do your own gas.
I prefer self-serve.
And I will even expand that by saying every place I've been to, except for Oregon, you can do your own gas. 30 years, haha.
I mean, I remember, I guess, back in a long time ago in California, there was like a self-serve side, and then there was a non-self-serve side of the gas station that you could go to.
No, I've seen those, yeah.
But I can, it's so easy. Just let me do it.
But I also get that it quote unquote creates jobs.
Have them do other jobs than that at the gas station. I don't know the solution to that problem, but I prefer self-serve because... Yeah,
but we also do self-checkout at the grocery store to bring this full circle to the beginning with Jack. But
for the main episode, we do self-checkout because we just like to do our own shit and not have to interact with anybody else.
Exactly, and that is why Oak Ridge, Oregon is just such a beautiful place for me and you. Is that there's 3,322.
Well, with us included.
Yes. So when you pull into Oregon, there's 3,000. The sign says 3,320 people, which is by far the smallest place I've ever lived. Mm-hmm. However, nobody comes to your door,
unless it's Amazon or
UPS or FedEx, and we love that there's nobody here, and. Sure, that means that everybody's going to know who we are eventually. Because when we did come here, we did talk to somebody. The very first time we came here, before we looked at the house, we did talk to somebody. And he was like, when you move here, you become part of a family. And I get that because it's a very small community.
I should join that Facebook group that they talk about.
You should.
People that are from a city or suburb moving to a small town Oak Ridge. They have a support Facebook group for people that are transitioning to small town, mountain town way of life.
And Liz and I have talked about actually, hey, can we become more involved? And
Yeah,
we probably won't. However, we will
will
do one thing. We're going to do one thing at least, at a very minimum. There is going to be an annular eclipse that passes right over our house in October, on October 14th.
Yeah.
Which is also Stephanie's birthday, my daughter. And so we... and I truly use this as an excuse to get these Pringles from Target.
I forgot about the Pringles.
We can make little like solar viewers
with Pringles. I did this for the solar eclipse back in 2017. And I had taken a Pringles can, and we had some solar filters that we had, and I cut out the bottom of the Pringles can, and I taped the solar filter on the end of it, and I put my camera lens through the Pringles can at the bottom.
Fits beautifully.
It fit perfectly, and so I could actually take pictures of the sun during the eclipse with the solar filter on it. And so we got some Pringles cans so that we could do the same thing, but we could actually share them with some kids in the neighborhood or families so that they can actually observe the solar eclipse and not burn their eyes out to death.
Yeah, so...
and they can actually observe it in a safe manner.
Yeah, so we're going to... we bought a couple.
We also have solar glasses left over, too.
We do. And
give
we'll give those out as well. But the plan is for us to... eat these Pringles, make the viewers, and to share those with our neighbors. And because it truly is coming over our house, and Live Sky does say that it's basically 50-50 whether it's going to be cloudy or not, because historically 51% of the time it is cloudy.
Yeah.
So we might need to make other plans or just whatever, but we are going to share it with our neighbors, and this will be a way for us to build up the courage,
integrate into the community,
and you know what? Actually, we should take some of these down to Lion Mountain Bakery. Lion Mountain Bakery, which is a bakery that's near here, which is just amazing food.
They have like a theater company they shared the space with, and so there's lots of things that eventually, once we're settled in and feel comfortable, that we can reach out and kind of, put a little bit of maybe an astronomical mark down in this town. Bring a little space science to Oak Ridge.
Karen, Katie, and Adam. You know where you can come for an annular eclipse on October 14th.
And Jack.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, but
he's got his own planetarium to run and shit to do.
I mean, everybody's invited, but we can only have so many people. we have 2 bedrooms, but we actually would open up space for. I mean, Brandon. Jack, Federico can make the flight over here.
Yeah, Federico, come from Italy. Come all the way from Italy to the United States. And tell us how to say things. Because every time I do an Italian accent now, I do think about you and how disappointed you would be in me. But I still do it because I'm an American.
I know, right? It's only a 2-hour drive for some of us.
I know, 3 hours
and
for Katie.
For Jack flies into Eugene. It's only a 45-minute drive from Eugene.
Yeah, we pick him up. It's a beautiful drive.
And it really is.
Beautiful
it really
drive.
is. Once you get under 58, it's...
Anyway,
You're in charge of this.
I am in charge.
You're in charge of this.
All right. Well, you've been on a roll, so I've just been letting you, go. Anyway, so let's recap here on the hangover.
Actually, I think it's been... we did avoid politics, didn't we?
We avoided politics for the most part, hints here and there to where we stand politically, which everybody should know at this point if you have listened to us. And if you haven't listened to us before and you're just tuning in, well, bleeding heart liberal atheist, what can I say? We have discussed human spaceflight and the importance of it. Life or limb be damned.
Okay, but yeah.
Okay. We have discussed
Space rocks.
Space rocks, and in the main episode, we discuss various things you can see in the night sky. So, all in all, I think that the moral of the story is just, go outside, check out the night sky, see what you can see out there. Just think about your place in the universe. It's a wide expanse, and you're lucky enough to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's really all that should matter.
To be honest, Saturn's rings.
Saturn's
really show how lucky enough you are to be a part of it.
And Saturn is the king of the moons. At the end of the day, the moral of the story is Saturn is king of the moons. King of all moons in the solar system. I'm glad it's back
number one. Jupiter's got a long way to go.
Yeah, fuck you, Jupiter. Get out of here, you rapey bastard. Saturn, king of the moons. Thank you, Saturn.
Anyway,
Greek god of agriculture. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks with astrology, where I get really angry and read your horoscopes. So joining us then for...
and we might... weren't we gonna... Oh, we were going to do some horoscopes. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
I
can't give it away.
We'll have normal horoscopes and we'll have dark side horoscopes because I have a book that is about dark side zodiac that I've done before on this show, but we'll do it again.
Alcohol will be needed.
Alcohol is always needed on Cosmos with Cosmos. Will Cosmos be had? Probably not, but the Cosmos will be had. So joining us then, follow us on all the things at Drink Cosmos on Twitter, Cosmos with Cosmos everywhere else, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see ya. I gotta find my mouse in order to turn everything off here. So I gotta find a way to monitor my mouth is at. There it is. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. And bye.